Okay, let's get these shoulders warmed up. So posture check, feet under knees, under hips, under shoulders. Let's have the arms in at the waist, bent at 90 degrees, and have active fingers. So you're feeling tension, push the shoulder down, your hands are stretching back so they're nice and active. Open them up. So when you open up, you squeeze your shoulder blades together and then close. So you're really feeling your chest across here. Open up. Squeeze the shoulder blades and close, lovely. And use the breath, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, stretch those hands as well, giving those a nice stretch. And breathe out, let's add on. So I'm going to reach, breathe in, reach. When you come back, imagine you're squeezing a balloon under your armpit, you're trying to burst. So you squeeze those elbows in really tight and then close, lovely. So you're just creating your own resistance. Breathe in and out. And again, breathe in. And now, lovely, one more. And release, lovely. Similar exercise. Again, this works the rotator cuff and warms up the shoulders and elbows. So we've got our elbows at shoulder height, so you're nice and level here. Shrug the shoulders up and then slide them down as if you're putting them in imaginary pockets here. So you're putting your shoulder blade in that pocket. Hold here again, create stiffness in your hands as if someone pushed you. You're not going to have jelly arms, they're nice and strong. Rotate down as if you're pushing two imaginary levers. Keep your elbows up and release. And again, let's do this with breath. Breathing in and out. Again, think on that out breath of squeezing that tummy a little bit so you engage in your core. And that engages all the muscles around the lower back and the spine, which is what we want to do because we're trying to work safely and stabilise all the muscles around the spine. Lovely. I'm going to do one arm at a time. Right arm push down. Let's look to the right as well. So we warm up the neck. And centre. Breathe in, centre, breathe out. So as well as looking to the left, you can look behind you a little bit. Give that neck a little bit of a stretch. Just gently. Breathe in. Keep your rib cage down. So when you lift your arms up, you're not lifting your body, it's just your arms pushing back. Lovely. Breathe out. Breathe in. And out. One more to the left. Breathe in. And out. Let's hold both arms up in the centre. Reach back. Keep the shoulders down. And release. Lovely. So feet a little bit wider. I'm going to do some side bends, and this is to warm up the spine. So you can have your hands on your legs and you can just gently slide. So it's just small, so we're getting a bit of a bend in the waist, getting a bit of flexion in the spine, stretching the side that's bending away from you. Again, if you're feeling any sort of clicking or pain, have your hands here and just support yourself slightly. Otherwise, we can take the arms up to the temple, reach down one side, just adds a bit of weight, makes the stretch go a bit further. Again, see how your spine feels, because you are bending and stretching quite deeply, so you want to be nice and feel strong. Then I'm going to take the arm over, so one arm to the temple, one reaching over, and again, if that's too much, hand here, and then switch sides. Trying to keep the arm up near the ear, so there's no rotation where, like you're leaning against the wall behind you and you're just sliding your elbow down towards your waist. Lovely. And another one. Then I'm going to change again. You can always go back to the beginning, but hands together, fingers, try and get those arms up near your ears. And I'm going to lean over to the side. And then I'm going to push the hips as well. So suddenly really bending, getting a nice stretch into the hips. If you need to, just support that hand on the hip. And release. Let's change sides. So lengthen, tip, then push the hips. Oh, lovely. And release. Well done. Let's bring the feet back underneath us. And I'm going to warm up the wrists, so that we're ready to go down to the floor, warming up the wrists and shoulders. So let's give these wrists a circle. Again, think of that posture check, so your weight's evenly distributed with your feet. Don't lock the knees out. So locking the knees means don't push them back. They're just relaxed, but they're not really bent. Change direction with your hands. Pulling up tall, shoulders over hips, ears over shoulders. Again, squeezing that tummy in. Let's have the hands together and the figure of 8 movement. Warming up these wrists, lovely. And then I'm going to take the wrists to the side and flick them up and down. Stretch the arms out. Like I'm pushing the heel of my hand away. So this is a little bounce, getting into the shoulders. Keep the arms up, flicked up, and circle backwards behind you. Lovely. Try and again not use the ribs. So don't lift up. Your ribs are here are closed. It's just the shoulders that are warming up. Lovely. Then flick the hands down and then come forward. Lovely. Then release the wrists and just take the arms across and open. Each time, one going over the other. Lovely. Let's have the hands behind. Just stretch the chest. And release. Lovely. Okay, still a little bit more into the wrist. Grab them in front, stretch the fingers, stretch the wrists, and then reverse the other way. So we're getting into these wrists, stretching them, because once we're on the floor in this position, we're going to be putting weight on them as well. It's often the flexibility that causes the pain, not the weight. Bringing those arms up, push the hands up to the ceiling, and then bring them down. I'm going to round the back, pull the tummy in, push your hands towards me, let the head drop down, separating those shoulders. Lovely. Going to do a lot of spine rotation on the floor today, so we're not going to add it to the warm up, but I am going to. So in the which way do I want to do it this way? In the roll down, and again it's optional, I'm just going to do one quickly to show you the options. Once we've done a few to warm up, usually we just roll down and then come down to the knees, which is going to be an option today. You can do that, and then we're going to be adding some legs on. But if you want to, you can walk yourself forward, so you can roll down and you can walk out into a plank, then put the knees down. So we're going to build on that, but it's just so you've got a visual. Okay, so let's do the roll down. So imagine you're leaning against a wall that's behind you, so you're not sticking your bottom back, you're rolling the body down. So breathing in, breathe out, let your chin tuck in, then let your shoulders round. Feel your shoulders separating, stretch the back, pull the tummy in. If you're feeling anything in your back now, hands on the legs, little softness in the knees, really round that back, so it's like you're really curving that back. And then once you feel nice and rounded and curved, you can then lengthen and drop your arms down. Chin is tucked in, so eyes look at the knees, breath in here. Breathe out, curling back up, and you're stacking the spine back on top of each other, keeping the weight into the fronts of the feet a little bit. Lovely, let's go again. Breathing in, breathe out, chin down, around the shoulders, pull the belly in. Slowly rolling down, again supporting if you need to, bending the legs if you need to. Breath in at the bottom, breathe out, curl back up. Next time, I'm going to walk the hands forward into a plank and then come into all fours. Breathe in. Breathe out, roll down. So again, you could just crawl down to all fours if you want. Just come to the knees, or you can walk forward on the hands, come all the way out. Knees down. And just thinking of this position for a moment, your hands are slightly pulling apart, and that will engage your shoulders. And instead of your shoulders being here, push them back. So you're in a nice tabletop position. Just stretch your right leg back and push into your right heel. So push your heel back, feeling a nice stretch in the calf. Your neck is nice and long, looking straight down at the floor. Squeeze the tummy. Then place that foot back, stretch the other one back. Stretch the foot. So it's a calf stretch essentially, just in a held position. Engage those shoulders. Now take the other leg back up and walk the hands back. Either that or crawl yourself back and then curl up. And again, this can be done bent legged or straight. And you're going to roll, curl yourself back up. I'm going to go the other way because I'm bashing into that a bit. We're going to roll down again, a bit quicker this time and adding on a bit quicker. Breathing in, breathe out, roll down. I'll do the other option this time, just in case you want to crawl forward. Stretch one leg back. Again, pull those hands apart, engage the shoulders, squeeze the tummy. Bring the knee in. Now stretch the other leg back. And then take them both back to plank. Squeeze the tummy, tuck that tailbone under, walk the hands back. Or you could crawl back, tuck under, curl up. So I'm going to do one more like this. I'm going to do the full one, walking forward, breathing in, breathe out, roll down. So you come to a plank, you come to all fours, push back the right leg, stretch and lower. Push back the left leg, stretch and lower. Now push them both back, 1 and 2. Push into a down dog. So you might need to adjust your hands, walk them in slightly. Pushing back here, pushing your heels down as much as you can, bending the knees if you need to, thinking of pushing your chest towards the floor. So we're opening up these arms and chest, getting these arms near the ears, relax the neck. Squeeze the tummy, one more breath. Now let those knees bend. Release the feet, and then you're going to sit back into child pose, so your bottom towards your feet, arms behind you, let your shoulders relax and let your head relax. You're just feeling a nice rounding in this lower back, your tailbone tucked under, you've got a nice stretch in that lower back. Few breaths here. Lovely. Let's give these wrists a little stretch. I'm going to turn my camera sideways now so you can see me more. That's better. Okay, so this is some chest spine rotation, bit of balance, and it's all on all fours. So again, it is working the shoulders, but it's gentle. So we're in this box position again, or tabletop, so your hands are under your shoulders. Same thing, don't lock your elbows out. My arms are hyperextensive, so I don't want to lock them like that. I have to have them soft. So just be mindful of your own body. They've got to be slightly soft, otherwise that's going to damage them if I push them like that. Again, slightly as if I'm trying to pull a piece of paper apart, and that will engage my shoulders, and then they sit nice and strong. And if you're not sure, shrug the shoulders up and then pull them back down and then pull the hands apart. That's where you want to be. Squeeze the tummy in. So let's take the right leg back, and I'm going to then open up my left arm. So I'm on my right arm and my right knee, and I'm looking up. If you can, if not, keep looking down. And then switch sides. Keep that leg where it is. Bring the hand back, then open up the right arm. So you've got now completely trying to open your hip. And again, you can look up if that's comfortable, or just look to the side, or just look down. And then come back down again. Then we're going to change sides. So have your left leg back. To start off with, we're doing the opposite. So you're turning towards your right leg. So you open your right arm and open up. So it's rotating, twisting the spine, opening up this shoulder. And then we come back. Then the other side is the harder one because you have to balance more. So you're opening up completely to the side. This top hip you're trying to open back. So you're opening up your hip, opening up your arm, looking up if you can balance. Lovely, and then we'll come back down again, and then we'll change sides again. So right leg back. So we're going to open up to the opposite arm. to open up your left. So we're twisting. This one's harder to get for the mobility, the other one's harder for the balance. So keeping this shoulder right away from that chin. Come back, keep the leg there, just rotate open the right arms. This is where you need to balance. Try not to grip with that back foot. Try and engage the core, squeeze the tummy. That's what we want. Stabilise the muscles around the spine. Come back, last time. On the left. Left leg back, open the right arm. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice, stabilise, lovely. Then put the hand down, leg where it is, just open the other arm. You're always going to have one side that's a bit easier. And you are trying to rotate this hip up. See, I've got a lot of wobbling going on. I've done this for a while. It's a good thing. Lovely, come back. Back to centre, both knees down. Let's sit back, stretch. Stretch those arms forward, give them a stretch out. Coming up, open the knees a bit more so you've got space, and then we're going to push through a little bit more, trying to arch that back. You can lift your bottom if you need to. So this is like the down dog. You're pushing your chest down so that we open up this area under the arms, pushing those shoulders. Lovely, come up to sitting. Let's give these wrists a little rest. I'm going to do one more exercise on the wrists. But I've got some options, so if it's too much, we can take it down a level. So for weeks, I mean even prior to Christmas, we've been doing our, in this position, we've been rotating, haven't we? Then we've been rotating higher, then we've been rotating on all fours. So basically, this is very similar to rotating on all fours, but I'm going to take the weight forward. So if you want to do it just on all fours, have your hand to your temple, and you're just going to open and come back down. But what I'd like to try and do, come onto all fours, take the hands, step them forwards so you can drop your hips down. So I'm still very much rounded here. You don't want to be arched, tuck under. Then same thing, hand here, open up, and small rotation. And open. Stay on the same side. And rotations. You're either on all fours or you're in this sort of half plank position. Make sure your hands under your shoulders. Let's do 3 more. Breathing into it. Try not to let your lower back twist. It's the upper back we're trying to open. Really going to be using the core here. 1 more. Lovely. Let's just relax before we switch sides. Whew. So quite a lot of stabilisation in the shoulder, wrists, and you've got using the core there. It's harder than it looks. So back onto all fours, step the hands forward, tuck the hips under, drop them. Then I'm going to do the other side. Hand to temple, open up. Small rotation. Squeeze that tummy. You should feel a bit of shaking. Try and keep your hips still. It's the upper body we're moving. Breathe in and out. And in. And out. Squeeze that tummy in the upper. 3 more. 1 more. Oh, well done. Hands down. Let's sit back. Let's rest. Well done. Lovely. So let's give these wrists a little stretch. I want to sit in a comfortable, in fact, I'm going to sit in a specific position. I want to try and stretch our hips out. So let's start, can we sit with our feet together? If you find this position difficult, sit on a pillow or something a bit higher, because if your hips are higher, then your knees, it's going to be a little bit better. Also, further away your feet are, a little bit easier it's going to be. If you've got your feet right here, it's quite a lot on the hips. But this is what we want to try and open up, is these hips a little bit. So for the moment, we're just sitting up tall, shoulders are back, whichever position you're comfortable in. So if also you can cross the legs, but you haven't crossed them, they're not crossed on top of each other, they're like this, and you're trying to get your knees down. That's what we're trying to do, which is a bit easier than trying to get your knees down here. So just let them cross over each other. Make a mental note of which leg you got in front. It's going to switch soon. Again, if this should be more comfortable than the mount, but if not, you can just go for good old cross legs. But I find, because we're going to lean forward, if your legs are crossed, you squash them, so you need them to be separate, if that makes sense. And you can use this to pull onto, pull up, and just try and relax into it. Just try and think of these areas, and with your out breath, find that space in your mind and let those legs relax into it. I'm going to turn sideways just so you can see. I'm trying to be up really tall, so I've got this curve, my natural curve in my back. Everybody is often like this, which is not uncommon, which is why you need to sit on something. A towel or a cushion can help get this position. We want to try and aim to be able to sit up straight. And then gently just lean forwards. Hands on the floor. You're going to start to feel a stretch around the hips. And just breathing into it, just relax. As long as you're not feeling any issues with your knees. If you're feeling your knees start to burn a bit or hurt, then we're just going to come out of that and maybe just have the legs here and lean forward. That's going to be fine. The idea is to open up the hips. You don't want to put too much stress on those knees. But you can go as far forward as you're comfortable with. Try not to tense, try and breathe into it. And slowly coming up out of that. We're going to switch legs, so whichever one was in front before. So you can start cross-legged, that's like your easiest option, but you're going to find that might squash you a bit, so then just separate slightly if you can. And pulling up. So as well as stretching out the hips, we're lengthening the back. So we're lengthening from the top of the head, lengthening forwards. It's a really nice stretch for the spine. Everything's engaged. All the muscles in the back are engaged as well. And then I'm going to let them soften a bit as I start to lean forward. Again, listen to your knees. Take your legs to suit what is you're happy with. And if they hurt, just come up and take the feet, soles of the feet together. One side's often tighter than the other, so just make a mental note of that. Our hips are always very tight, but tight hips means your back takes all the stress when you go to do stuff, so you need to have nice loose hips. And release, lovely. I'm just going to come back to centre. I just want to do a bit of a side bend. Again, sit with the heels together this time, but have your legs out further if you want. And keeping your bottom on the floor, reach one arm up, hand down, and just stretch over. So it's the same as we do standing, it's just assisted because you've got, you're held, your spine is supported. And release, let's change sides. Reaching up, gently stretch over. Making sure this side stays down so you don't lift up. Going to do quite a lot in this position today. So if we sort of call it our diamond position, so we know what we're doing, the soles of our feet are together. Lovely. So let's take it down to the floor, lying down. So usually we have our feet hip width apart and feet on the floor. This time let's have our feet here and we're slowly going to roll down halfway and then come up again. If you need to hold on to your knees, roll down a little bit and come up again. If it's really uncomfortable, just have your legs, whichever works for you. If you can, roll down. Can we take some arms really on the way back? Pull your belly in. Try and think of almost tucking your hips under. Reaching forwards. We're working through these hips, pulling backwards. Reaching forward. And let's go all the way down. And relax. So finding bringing your feet in a bit closer towards you if that's comfortable. We're going to work in this position. So again, if it gets uncomfortable at any time, just bring the knees up and the feet flat on the floor. But if you're happy resting here, and again, the further away your legs are, the more comfortable it's going to be. The further up they are, the tighter it is in your hips. So maybe start low and slowly come in. Shoulders away from the ears. We want the neck long, so your chin is tucked in. And let's have the hands down by the side. And we're just going to breathe here for a moment. Try and breathe into it, try and relax. And again, if it hurts the knees, you can always bring them up a bit. Really do listen to your body and adjust as you need to. We're going to do some crunches in this position because crunches are quite hard to do in this position. And when we crunch, I really want you to think of your ribs here are sliding towards the hips. That's what they're doing. And the upper body is just lifting very slightly. We want to try and avoid this happening with the head. So we're going to support the head, maybe just with the fingers behind the backs of the ears. And just think of lifting your chest off the floor an inch. Pull your tummy in, squeeze it, and just lift up. So you're almost looking straight up. You've got a gap under your chin of about a fist. I know you can't go very high when your legs are like that, so it does help as well. Relax your neck. Lift up. And lower. Breathe out. Breathe in, lift. Keep these elbows back. So you can't also in this position particularly press your lower back into the floors, which keeps you in neutral. Your tailbone is there, but you can't imprint. So it's not a bad position to be in because it kind of gets you visually aware of where neutral spine is. Can we add on? Reach up, reach forward. So I'm adding a bit more of a reach now and down. Again, it is an add-on, so you can keep your hands supporting if you want. But lift with your chest. Try not to reach with your chin and strain the neck. Reach up and hold. I'm just going to pulse. 1, 2. Again, you can have your hands supporting if you want, or both. Otherwise, squeeze the tummy in. You're pulling the tummy in and flat, zipping up the pelvic floors. You don't want to push your belly out. Reach. 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Lovely. Let's close these legs gently just to give them a bit of a release. Bring the knees in one at a time and then do some more abdominals, but let's come out of that position. Let's just roll those knees round in a circle, release them. And you'll feel the back flatten and arch, flatten and arch. You're imprinting and reverse. So your hips should feel loose already, quite a lot of movement here. So another exercise for hips mobility and stability is our leg circles. So this time the feet are hip width apart, small gap in between the feet, having them facing forwards. We're going to start with, again, keep your back in neutral, so you've got a small gap, but still pull your abs and your pelvic floor in, so you are engaged. Let's just lift the right leg. So you've got a nice 90-degree angle here, your calf is parallel to the floor, shoulders down, chin tucked in. And with your knee, imagine I've got a brush on my knee and I'm drawing a little circle. So your foot stays still, you're just drawing a circle on the ceiling with your knee that has a paintbrush stuck on it. The idea with this is that it's slow. If you do it too quickly, you're not going to get the benefit. Also, nothing should be moving. If you're not sure, slide your hands under your back. And as you move your knee, your back shouldn't be moving. So if you can feel that you're rolling side to side or up and down, you're not controlling the core. So either make the movement smaller or just really focus on it and concentrate. Lovely. Let's change direction. So the rest of the body doesn't move. Everything is in this sort of perfect Pilates posture. You're really squeezing your tummy. That's what's stopping you rolling. Try not to grip with this other foot. Keep this other knee straight up to the ceiling. Wonderful. And just relax that knee in for a moment. Going to continue taking that up a level. You can stay with the knee bent. I'm going to try and extend the legs. Exactly the same position. Extend it. Don't worry if it's not straight. If your hamstrings aren't allowing it, just extend it a bit more because it increases the weight. Same thing, circle. So as you've got more movement, because your leg is extended, when you take your leg out to the side, your body wants to roll. So you've got to squeeze all this to stop the roll happening. Keep an eye on your left knee. So imagine you've got a cup of tea on there, you don't want it wobbling. Again, if you can get your legs straight, wonderful, extend it. If you're not going to get cramp, you can point the foot. So you've just, again, that's what you're aiming for. But if you're not used to these exercises, you'll get cramp quite quickly. So if you just have to relax, relax. Let's reverse our hip circle. And you can make it as big as you want, as long as, again, no movement. So your neck is still, your shoulders are still, your tummy is still, everything is still. And you're getting some nice flexibility in the leg, but you're really doing some good pelvic stability here. One more. And release, place it down. Wonderful. We're going to switch sides. So starting small, just this nice 90-degree angle. Again, little posture check. So neck long, chin is tucked in, but not so you're squashed. So if you need a pillow, a little tiny one, that's fine. Shoulders down, away from the ears. Chest down, lower back has a gap, tummy pulled in. Little paintbrush on the knee, and we're going to paint on the ceiling a nice circle. So ultimately you're pushing your tailbone into the floor at the moment. But try and think of, rather than just pushing with the tailbone, your body's even. So you've got your tailbone, you've got your foot, you've got your other two shoulders, you've got a tailbone, you've got two hips into the floor, your head, your hands. So just try and feel yourself into the floor. Change direction. Again, if you need to slip your hands under your back to help to see, are you moving, are you not? You should really be having to use your tummy muscles for this. It looks like a very simple exercise, and it is. But if you're doing it properly and engaging and you're keeping everything else still, I mean, I am mini shaking. I'm having to work to do this. And I'm talking. Keeping this other knee straight up. Have a little, you should be able to see your knee. If you can't, your chin's way up here. So you should be able to see that other leg and that it's not waving around. Lovely. Release the knee for a moment. And then we're going to do the same thing with the leg extended if you want. Leg extend. I'm going to have to keep mine a bit smaller because I've got a wall. I'll move a bit. There we go. So I can see my knee. So this one isn't going to wobble. Let's give a circle. Especially as you take the leg away. That's what you've got to keep that knee still, and you've got to really use those abdominals. The back is still, the shoulders are still. Try and relax the chest and neck. One of the principles of Pilates is relax. So we've got to breathe, we've got to centre, you've got to focus, you've got to relax, you've got to flow. So it's all these sort of things of how to work with breath. Let's change direction. Breathe in, breathe out. Very slow. Breathe in, take it away. Breathe out. So try not to rush. One more circle. Wonderful. Let's bring those knees into the chest. Have a little circle round. Oh, we are flying through today. Okay, I'm going to do some abdominals, then we're going to do a bridge in a hip opener position. So we'll give our neck and shoulders a release for a moment, and I'm going to do some abdominals working the lower bit, but I will add upper later on. But let's start off with your right leg lengthened out on the floor and having your left foot on the floor, knees up. Same thing, shoulders down, neck long, chin tucked in. Let's lift this leg up and down. So you're just kicking it. So again, if you need it slightly bent, that's fine. But if you can have it straight, you're also getting a nice stretch in your hamstring. You're strengthening your hip flexors. And you're having to use your abdominals to kick that leg up as well. So there is some work going on there. Okay, so this is our base move. I'm just going to add on. You can stay and work at whichever level works for you best. So if you want to add on, what I'm going to do is hold this right leg up. Hold this other leg away. So what I want to do is this left leg, bring it up. I had to think about that then. The right leg's going to go up and down, the left leg stays in the air. So you've got an L shape and up. So when you take this leg down, you've got to be careful, you don't arch, you don't pull your back off. You've got to be able to control it. So if it's a small, that's fine. If it's only halfway down, 45 degrees, that's fine. If you can take it all the way down, wonderful. Again, if your legs are bent, this is also fine. Try and keep the neck down. Think of the back of the ribs pressing into the floor. That helps you sort of squeeze your tummy, pull the back into the floor a little bit as well. Lovely. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just relax for a moment. I'm going to add on another level, add in the upper body, but you don't have to, you can stay where you are. Same thing, left leg up straight, right leg out. Grab the back of your left leg and lift your head and shoulders up. Trying to get the shoulder blades off the floor so you've really crunched. So you can hold your leg here if you want and just lift and lower the other one. So a slight switch. Or you can let go. So the left leg's in the air, the right leg is moving. Squeeze the tummy, looking straight ahead. Again, if you need to, just take that head and shoulders back down for 8, for 7. Squeeze the tummy, press the back in the floor. For 4 more, and 3, and 2. Again, it could be small, and 1. Release, lovely. We're going to switch sides. So left leg is long, right leg is bent. Kick and lower your left leg. Get yourself ready, chin tucked in, chest down, tummy in, lift and lower. Breathe. On that out breath, really squeeze your tummy. Think when we did our warm up, we're expelling all that air. 2 more. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing but with the right leg in the air. So you lift both legs, your right leg stays up, left leg lowers and kicks up. So instead of the right foot being on the floor, it's now in the air. Again, you can take your left leg down as much as you want, as long as you don't tip and suddenly get this big gap. You've got to be able to pull your tummy in, your back is into the floor. Neck is long, don't let that chin stick up in the air. Four more. 3, 2, and 1. Then this time we're going to do the opposite. So last time I held my left leg, so this time I'm going to hold my right leg, pull myself up, hold the right leg, the left leg lifts and lowers. If you think you did the other leg the other time, don't worry too much. The idea is that we're lifting and lowering. If you can take those hands off the leg and reach, squeeze the tummy, press the back in the floor, try and get those shoulder blades off. Breathe. Again, if you need to, head down. 4 more. 3, 2, 1 more. Release. Down. Look right to left. Let's release the tension in the neck. Let's do a few of these. Really release. Lovely. So we're going to go into some bridges, and this is going to be done, again, options, but it's going to open up the hips. So if your hips are feeling like they've had enough and you don't want them turned out anymore, you can just have your feet in this position with your feet here. But if you can, have your foot on your knee. And that's where I want to start, and we're going to stay in that position. So if you don't like it, foot down. But before we lift, let's just prep the body for a bridge. So same thing, lengthen the neck so you can see your knees. Chest relax, shoulders away from your ears, hands down. We've got neutral, but we're going to breathe in, breathe out, totally flatten that neutral. So you're pulling your belly in towards your spine and you're flattening your spine from your tailbone here all the way up to your ribs, where your rib cage start. So really flatten the whole thing. Breathe in, release it. Breathe out, flatten the back. So you're doing a pelvic tilt back and forth, and you're really squeezing your tummy in. Draw your belly button, pull it back towards your spine as if you're trying to touch the inside of your belly button on your spine. Imagine you're really pulling it in. Squeeze your pelvic floor as well. So if you're holding in a wee, squeeze it to 100% when you pull that in, and you should shake. Squeeze and release. So when we do the exercise, we're not going to squeeze that hard, but for the prep, breathe in, breathe out, pull back, flatten the back, squeeze. It should be so hard. You're squeezing so hard that if you had to talk, you couldn't. I can't hear you, so you can try and talk. But if you sort of said, you can see it's really hard. That's how it should be like. All right, let's relax the pelvic floor a bit. About 30%. So you're just pulling it in. Now lift your hips up. Push each vertebra into the floor. Come all the way up to the ribs. Squeeze with the bottom, push up. Neck is long, neck is relaxed, shoulders relaxed. And then we lower, making sure your foot, the big toe, the little toe, the ball of the foot is engaged with the floor. So don't roll those feet out or in. Lovely. So this is how we lift and lower. I'd like to do the foot position now, but you can stick with that if you want. So right foot over the left knee. You've got to try not to let yourself roll. So it's going to take a bit of control. Same thing. Breathe in, breathe out. Flatten the back into the floor. Push up to the ribs. Lift. So you're really working this left glute. The knee, try and open it, but keep flat here like you've got a cup of tea on here. So you don't want to drop. Keep lifted. So you're squeezing both sides, but predominantly really working that left leg. Roll down. Again, keeping this flatness. So more than a cup of tea, think of probably a tray of drinks. Keep your pelvis flat. If you're not sure, have your hands on there. Breathe in, breathe out. And you should almost be able to see it slightly. You could lift the head just to have a look. Are you flat or have you dropped? Squeeze up. Again, if you don't like that, just put both feet on the floor. Couple more here. Breathe in, breathe out. Flatten the back, lift up. And the spine, we want to lift and lower like a string of pearls. So don't let that knee come up to which it wants to. Let it relax, but keep the hips level. Roll down. Don't grip with the foot. Do one more. Lengthen, squeeze, 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 and roll down. Wonderful. We're going to switch sides. So either both feet flat or left, ankle on the knee. Relax. Again, flat. Got your tray of drinks. Shoulders away from the ears, get yourself ready, relax the other foot, breathe in. Breathe out, flatten the back, peel the spine off the floor. Push with your right bottom, your right buttock, push onto the floor. Have a little check, am I level? Because that left knee wants to drop quite a lot. It's difficult because you've got to drop the knee but not drop the hips. So your hips are up and your knees open, so it's quite a lot to think about. Roll down, and you're trying to roll down equally so the spine isn't twisting either. Breathe in, breathe out. Press the back in, peel the spine off the floor. Let the knee drop, keep the hips up, squeeze the right bottom. Check your tray of drinks is flat. Roll down, lovely. Let's do 3 more. On that way down, really do a pelvic tilt in the air so you can flatten the back. Breathe in, breathe out. Lift, squeeze, relax the knee, push both hips up. Breathe in at the top, breathe out, roll down. 2 more, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in at the top, breathe out, roll down. We've got 1 more. Roll down. Well done. Release that foot, bring those legs in. So you might feel a little bit sore around these hips, but it's going to do you so much good. I'm going to do a nice little stretch for the hips, as we haven't done enough. And then we'll do a little bit of the spine and have a bit of a cool down, as it's just over 10 minutes. Okay, gently bring yourself up to sitting. So this exercise, this next one, we've got a couple of options. I want to do it leaning against the wall, or you could do, as long as you're leaning against something that's not going to move, that's fine. A bed, a wall, a sofa. If it's uncomfortable for you, your option is the same position we've just done. You're going to be just here. So if, again, you've got a strap, if you find it hard to reach for your legs, you can always use that. I want to do it sitting up, which I'm going to do. Have your strap nearby either way. Lean against the wall and have your legs out. So I haven't got my bottom all the way against the wall. I need to have a gap and lean back, because when I bring my legs up, I won't be able to get there otherwise. So just cross right leg. In fact, I'll do your opposite. Right leg over the left one. So you might find pulling this leg in is enough. We're just going to keep progressing from this. If you can, this other leg, I want to start to slide it up. So if you're on a wooden floor like me, barefoot is fine. If you've got socks on, it's going to be hard, so you may need to take your socks off or adjust. And I'm just going to gently bring this leg in a bit more and a bit more. Adjust this leg on the top, see how it feels. Again, listen to your knees. So if you need to be on your back, that's fine. I haven't done this since before Christmas, so it's going to be tight. Trying to breathe into it. Again, if you want to, you might find this helps just to hold your leg in place. If you find you can't reach, relax into the wall. I'm going to, if you can, go through the leg, and then you can grab that knee. Again, use your band, or if you can grab your hands and slowly get your leg further in towards you, but gently do it a little bit of time breathing into it. It's a deep stretch and you don't want to overdo it. Should feel a lot looser. Lovely. Then just release the hand. Just let your legs gently come down to the side. Sit yourself up. If that's hurting the knee, straighten the underneath leg and just grab the leg and twist away. But if it doesn't hurt the knee and you're happy there, still the same thing. Grab the leg that you got pulled into you and you're twisting the other way. If you can get an arm around it, wonderful. If not, just relax into it. So whichever leg you got pulled into your chest, you're twisting away from it. Twisting towards it even. So right leg, twist to your right. Looking over your right shoulder. Wonderful. Let's release. Let's switch sides. You can either do this lying on the back, or we've got the legs out in front. Let's cross left leg over right. And then again, just pull that knee in. Feeling the stretch here. This could be enough. Or very gently, we're going to start to bend this underneath foot. And again, note each side might feel different. And you need to sort of move bits around, see how you feel. Breathing into it. Using your bands as you need to. The further away your bottom is from the wall, the easier this is. So if you're finding it really tight, your body's into the wall, but you've got a gap underneath. Try not to have your bum sat up, otherwise it's going to be even tighter. So if you're comfortable, you take your hand through and grab your leg. See, I'm much looser on this side, but then I think I knew I would be, because it's I am opposite you, but this is actually my right leg. Much easier, so it does give you a good indication of which side has a tightness, especially if you sit cross-legged. The one that you usually cross over will be a looser side because it's used to being crossed, but it means you could have an imbalance in the hips, so that can lead to back pain, hip pain, all sorts of things. Lovely. Let's gently come out of that, let those legs roll over. The leg that's on top, just bring it in towards you. Either straighten the leg or keep it tucked under. Turn away and lengthen. Lovely. We're going to go into some relaxation in a moment. Lovely. Gently lie down. Feet and knees together, hands to the side, relax. Let's just sway the knees side to side. and gently let them fall over to the right. Gently, gently keep your shoulders down and look over to the left. Hold it there. You can look the other way as well, looking over your left shoulder. Let's find our little relaxation song we love. We know what this means. Gently squeeze the tummy, bring the knees back to centre and let them fall the other way. Should feel nice and loose around the back. Keeping the shoulder down, looking over towards your right. And gently come back to centre. We can lengthen the body out. We've done lots of lovely hip stretches already, so let's lengthen. Find a position that's comfortable for you. So you could be palms to the ceiling, legs out to the side. If your back prefers it, have your feet on the floor. Or you can pop a pillow under the back of your knees or your feet, whatever is comfortable for you, or lie on your side. Just forget everything. Just be comfortable. Have a moment for yourself. And just breathe, whichever way is natural to you. Closing the eyes. And just focusing on your breath. And just sensing your body gently move with your breath. Your tummy lifts and falls. And then with your feet, let's give the toes a little scrunch up together. Take a breath in. Breathe out and then release the toes, just feeling all the tension leave the feet. Then let's flex those ankles. Flex the feet. Breathing in. Breathe out, release, and just feel all the tension leave the feet. Floppy ankles. Then let's feel some tension around the kneecap, coming up the legs, into the thighs, into the bottom. Squeeze, take a breath in, breathe out. Feel that tension leave the legs. Then let's feel some tension in the tummy and the pelvic floor, and shrug the shoulders, a tension all the way through the trunk of the body. Breathing in, breathing out, everything softens, tummy relax, shoulders relax. And then feeling tension running down the arms, into the fingers, stretch the fingers apart. Breathing in, breathe out, relax. The arms soften, the shoulders soften. Then into your fingers, making a fist, squeezing tightly with the hands, feeling tension, breathing in. Breathe out, release the tension, shake all that tension out, release. And relax. One last time, head to toes, squeezing everything. Squeezing the toes, the knees, the thighs, the tummy, the shoulders, the arms, the face, the eyes, the jaw. Breathing in. Breathe out, relax. And every time you exhale, just sense yourself relaxing further. And just spend a moment here for yourself. Very gently bring some awareness back to your face. We can roll the eyes around even though they're closed. We can move the tongue around in the mouth. Twitch the nose. Wiggle the fingers, have a little wiggle of your toes and your feet. And then we could circle the wrists, circle the ankles. Placing the right foot on the floor, then the left foot. And then bring the right knee into the chest, giving it a little hug. And then the left knee. And just roll around slightly just to massage that lower back into the floor and change direction. gently onto your right hand side, roll over. Just coming into a child pose very gently. If you can, keep the eyes closed just while you're coming into child pose. And then whilst you're here, you can gently open the eyes, let the light in. Slowly place the hands on the floor, gently coming up to sitting. I'm just going to come to a comfortable sitting position. So that might be on your knees, that could be your legs out, cross-legged, whatever your hips are feeling is okay. And let's have a few breaths to finish. Here, breathing in. And out, relax. And again, breathe in. And out. Relax, let's do one more. Breathing in. Breathe out, arms back. And give yourself a clap. Thank you. Oops, so much. I'm going to pop off the recording.